How's the football team looking up to this point?
We're about 4 days in, about 8 practices in. Really pleased with where we're at. With the amount of installation and the things that we've put in offensively and defensively, I think the guys have really, one, understood the tempo that we want to be playing at, but from an execution standpoint, really, had you told me where we would be where we're at after 4 days of practice, I'd be really pleased. And so I think our guys have really put in the time over the summer, and it's starting to show a little bit on the practice field. Well, I think, from a positive standpoint, like I said, I think our returners, even though we don't have a bunch, have set a pretty high standard and been doing a really good job for the things that we've asked them to do. We just need to continue to get better each day. I think our talent level is going to surprise some people. I think we've got some really talented players out there. It's just the biggest challenge as the season goes on, and the thing I think you always have to work on is this just having that down practice, because if you keep going up and down and up and down, there's going to be a time where you never get back up again. And so if we're getting better every day, and I know it's coach speak, but that's really, if we're able to get rid of the mistakes that we make and get better each day, we put ourselves in a better position to win. If we're going back and making the same mistakes on Friday that we made on Tuesday, then we got some problems. So that's just something we need to continue to work on.
What are some of the returners that you like and think will be leaders for your team?
Well, I think, one of the guys that's really stood out for us, I think had a great summer, really put in time. Stefan's been unbelievable. Looks great. Like I said, you can tell he did the things he needed to do over the summer. Michael Ramos is ready to play. Daniel Musica up front is ready to go. We've got some guys on defense. We've got some young players in the secondary. May not be returners, but they've really been dynamite on the outside. Dalton Whitfield's only been here with us for a little bit. He's got some stuff going on with school that he's got to do, but I know he's pretty well prepared, and so those guys, like I said, you can tell they put in the time. The returners put in the time this summer, and collectively as a group, I think they've done a really nice job. Well, it's still, we're still trying to teach how we want to practice. We just started in on some of our special teams work. So, we're about 3 days of just kind of getting acclimated, and then change up the schedule a little bit and add special teams and things like that. We do have, next week we'll change gears. We're anticipating taking our team up to Hastings College up in Nebraska and scrimmaging them. So we'll kind of gear towards that. And then we'll still have a week where guys can kind of make that transition of going to class and being a football player, which there's a lot to balance and things like that. And then we'll get into the Dome week and get prepared for that. So we just kind of, the nice thing with the time is you can kind of almost gear each week towards one different thing. And, we'll try to do that. But we won't really start game planning for Dome until that week and just treat it like a regular game week.
How have your coaches helped you become better in this year's offseason?
Well, I think, these guys, obviously we lost Coach Dutcher in June and hired Coach Mills, and he's done a really nice job. He brings a good amount of experience to the offensive side of the ball. But I'll tell you, Coach Van Houten and Coach Peterson, since I've been here, have helped me kind of learn the lay of the land here. Everything's a little different at each place and how things need to get done. And even though you have your core values, there's different people that you have to work with and how you have to do things, and they've helped me with that. But at the same point, I think the one thing when you have a really good coaching staff like we have, different guys bouncing different ideas off. Not just ideas, but when I talk to coaches about, if a coach comes to me and says, hey, how about we do this? When a guy can say, this is where it's worked and this is how it works and can show you, then it's not just an idea, it's more of a plan. And these guys have been able to do that. It allows me, having Coach Peterson and Coach Van Houten over on the defensive side of the ball, it allows me to focus everything what we're doing offensively. And for every one of our players, because we modified our spring, for every one of our players on offense, everything is new. And for the coaches, everything is new. So it's allowed me to kind of be the offensive coordinator and let them run the defense, and I can be the head coach as I need to be, but it allows me to be able to do that with having such a good staff.